Take it. Take every single dollar." Emily Carter's hands shook as she slammed the crumpled bills onto the hospital counter. Her eyes were red, swollen, desperate. The clerk stared at her. "Ma'am, this is $15,000. Are you absolutely certain?" "I don't care about the money," Emily screamed. "That boy is dying in there. He has nobody save him. Please just save him." She didn't know his last name. She didn't know where he came from. She only knew that if he died tonight, a part of her would die with him. What Emily couldn't have known was that this homeless little boy carried a secret that would bring 4 luxury cars to her door, and the people inside those cars would turn her entire world upside down. Before we begin this incredible story, I invite you to subscribe to our channel and stay with me until the very end. Drop a comment with the city you're watching from. Let me see how far this story travels across the world. Now, let me take you back to where everything began. Emily Carter pressed her hand against her growling stomach and glanced at the clock. 2:15 in the afternoon. She reached under the counter and pulled out a plastic container filled with leftover rice and beans. This was lunch. This was dinner too, if she was being honest. 28 years old and still counting every dollar. Still wearing the same 3 dresses on rotation. Still dreaming about a life that seemed impossibly far away. But that dream kept her going. Modeling. Runways. Magazine covers. New York City. $15,000 sat in a wooden box in her bedroom closet. 3 years of sacrifice. 3 years of skipped meals and double shifts and saying no to everything she wanted. Just a few hundred more, and she would finally enroll at the Royal Crest Modeling Academy. Just a few hundred more. Emily lifted a spoonful of rice to her mouth when movement caught her eye. A small figure stood near the entrance. A boy. Thin, dirty. His clothes hung off his body like rags. His shoes had holes in both toes, and his eyes were locked onto her food with a hunger that made Emily's chest tighten. She lowered her spoon. "Hey there," she called out softly. "You okay, sweetheart?" The boy flinched. He took a step backward, ready to run. "Wait, don't go. I'm not going to hurt you." He stopped. His eyes darted between her face and the container in her hands. Emily set down her food and walked slowly toward him. She crouched down to his level. "What's your name?" His lips trembled. "Noah." "Noah. That's a beautiful name. I'm Emily. Are you hungry?" He didn't answer, but his eyes answered for him. Emily didn't hesitate. She walked back, grabbed her container, and placed it in his small hands. "Here, take it. It's yours." Noah stared at her like she had just offered him gold. His fingers curled around the container, but he didn't move. "Go on," Emily said gently. "Eat." He sat down on the concrete step and lifted a spoonful of rice to his mouth. Then another. Then another. He ate like someone who hadn't seen food in days. He didn't look up. He didn't slow down. He just ate until the container was empty. When he finished, his eyes glistened with tears. "Thank you, ma'am," he whispered. Emily's heart cracked open. "You're welcome, Noah." He stood up and handed her the empty container. Then he started walking away. "Wait," Emily called out. "Where are you going?" He paused, but didn't turn around. "Home," he said. "Where's home?" Silence. "Noah, where do you live?" He didn't answer. He just kept walking until he disappeared around the corner. Emily stood frozen in the doorway, her pulse racing. Something was wrong. She could feel it in her bones. That evening, Emily sat across from her mother at their small kitchen table. Grace Carter was 62 years old, with silver hair and weathered hands, but her eyes still held the quiet strength that had carried their family through hell. "You gave away your lunch," Grace asked. "Mama, you should have seen him. He was so thin, so hungry. The way he ate it was like he hadn't had food in days. Maybe longer." Grace set down her tea. "Where are his parents?" I don't know. I asked where he lived and he just walked away. Wouldn't answer me. Lord have mercy. Grace shook her head slowly. No child that age should be alone on the streets. That's what I keep thinking. Emily's voice cracked. Mama, the way he looked at me, it reminded me of us. After Daddy left, remember how hungry we were, how scared? Grace reached across the table and took her daughter's hand. I remember. Someone helped us back then, Mrs. Patterson from the church. She brought us groceries every week for 2 years. We would have starved without her. God sends angels when we need them most, Grace said quietly. Emily looked at her mother. Maybe that's what I'm supposed to be for this boy. Grace squeezed her hand. Maybe so. That night Emily couldn't sleep. She tossed and turned, seeing Noah's face every time she closed her eyes. The hunger, the fear, the loneliness. She got out of bed and knelt on the floor. Lord, please watch over that little boy tonight. I don't know where he is or who he belongs to, but you do. Please keep him safe. Please don't let him suffer alone. She stayed there for a long time, praying until her knees ached. The next morning, Emily opened her shop at 7 o'clock sharp. The usual customers came and went. She smiled, made small talk, counted her earnings, but her eyes kept drifting to the street. At noon, she saw him. Noah was walking along the sidewalk, stopping strangers, extending his small hand, begging for money or food. Most people ignored him. A few shook their heads. One woman actually crossed the street to avoid him. Emily's stomach turned. Then the sky darkened. Rain started falling. Light at first, then heavy pounding, relentless. Noah stood in the middle of it, still begging, still being ignored. He didn't run for cover. He didn't cry. He just stood there getting drenched. Noah! Emily shouted from her doorway. Get over here now! He looked up, hesitated, then ran toward her. By the time he reached the shop, he was shivering violently. Water dripped from his hair and clothes pooling on the floor. Emily grabbed a towel and wrapped it around his shoulders. What were you thinking? Why didn't you find shelter? Noah looked up at her with those ancient, tired eyes. I'm a strong boy, he said simply. The words hit Emily like a fist to the chest. No child should have to say that. No child should have to be strong in that way. She pulled out her lunch and handed it to him. Eat. He ate, slowly this time savoring every bite. When he finished, she gave him water and sat down beside him. Noah, I need you to tell me something. Where are your parents? His face changed. The light in his eyes dimmed. They're fine, he said quietly. They're waiting for me. Waiting where? Just around. They're around. Emily studied his face, the rehearsed quality of his words, the tension in his shoulders, the way he wouldn't meet her eyes. He was lying. She was certain of it. But she didn't push. She could see the wall he had built around himself. Whatever his story was, he wasn't ready to share it. Noah, listen to me. I don't want you begging on the streets anymore. It's not safe. From now on, when you're hungry, come here. I'll feed you. Every day. His eyes went wide. Every day. Every single day. You promise? I promise. For a moment, his mask slipped. She saw the scared little boy underneath, desperate, hopeful, terrified to believe. Thank you, Auntie Emily, he whispered. And for the first time he smiled, a real, genuine smile. Something shifted inside Emily's heart, something she couldn't explain. From that day forward, Noah became a fixture at Emily's shop. He arrived every morning right after she opened. He waited patiently by the door until she handed him breakfast. Then, without being asked, he started helping. He swept the front steps. He organized the shelves. He carried bags for elderly customers. He wiped down the counter. He worked with quiet determination, as if trying to earn his meals, even though Emily never asked him to. You don't have to do all this, Emily told him one morning. "I'm feeding you because I want to." Noah shook his head. "Mama always said never take something for nothing." Emily's heart clenched. Mama. He had a mother. So where was she? What happened to her? But she didn't ask. Not yet. Days turned into weeks. Noah became more comfortable, more relaxed. He laughed at Emily's jokes. He helped Grace in the kitchen when she visited. He started calling Grace Grandma after she hugged him one afternoon. Grace had tears in her eyes when he said it. "Did you hear that?" she whispered to Emily. "He called me Grandma." "I heard, Mama. This boy needs a family. He needs us." Emily nodded slowly. "I know." Customers noticed Noah too. They watched him work, watched him smile, watched him interact with Emily. "Is this your son?" an elderly woman asked one day. Noah ducked his head shyly. But Emily saw the flicker of hope in his eyes, the desperate longing. "He's family," Emily said. Noah looked up at her stunned. His bottom lip trembled. Later, when the shop was empty, he walked over to her. "Auntie Emily?" "Yes, sweetheart." "Did you mean what you said about me being family?" Emily crouched down and looked him straight in the eyes. "I meant every word." He threw his arms around her neck and held on tight. His small body shook with silent sobs. "I love you, Auntie Emily," he whispered. Emily's eyes filled with tears. "I love you too, Noah." But even as their bond deepened, Emily noticed things that troubled her. Every time she asked about his home, Noah shut down. His answers were vague, rehearsed careful. "Where do you sleep, Noah?" "Around." "Around where?" "Just around." "Who takes care of you?" "I take care of myself." One afternoon, Emily pushed a little harder. "Noah, I need to know where you live." "I'm worried about you." His face went pale. "Why?" "Because I care about you. Because you're important to me." He stared at the floor. His hands fidgeted with the hem of his shirt. "I can't tell you," he said quietly. "Why not?" "Because you'll be sad." Emily felt a chill run down her spine. "What do you mean?" "If you see where I live, you'll be sad. And I don't want you to be sad." Emily's throat tightened. "Noah, please don't ask me again, please." His eyes were filled with fear, real, genuine terror. Emily didn't push anymore, but her worry grew with every passing day. Something was terribly wrong, and she needed to find out what. That evening, she made a decision. When Noah thanked her and walked away with his leftover food, Emily followed him. She stayed far behind, moving quietly through the streets, keeping him in sight. Noah walked with purpose, turning down alleys, crossing overgrown lots, navigating paths she had never explored. Where is this child going? After 20 minutes, he stopped. Emily pressed herself against a brick wall and watched. Noah stood in front of an abandoned construction site. Half-finished concrete walls, no windows, no doors, no roof over most of the structure. Trash and broken glass littered the ground. He walked inside like he had done it 1,000 times before. Emily's heart pounded. She crept closer, barely breathing. She found a gap in the wall and peered through. What she saw destroyed her. Noah sat on a pile of old bricks. He had spread his leftover food on a dirty cloth and was eating slowly, methodically, making every bite last. In the corner lay a thin, ragged blanket on the bare concrete. That was his bed. No walls to protect him. No roof to keep out the rain. No adults anywhere in sight. Just a little boy alone in the ruins, surviving on scraps. Emily pressed both hands over her mouth. A sob tore from her throat before she could stop it. She stumbled backward, tears streaming down her face, and ran. She ran all the way home, crying so hard she could barely see. When she burst through the front door, Grace jumped up from the couch. "Emily!" "What happened? Why are you crying?" Emily collapsed onto the floor, her body heaving with sobs. "I followed him, Mama. I followed Noah. I saw where he lives." Grace's face went white. "Where?" "An abandoned building. No walls, no doors, nothing but concrete and garbage. He sleeps on the ground with a thin blanket. He has nobody. Nobody." Grace sank to her knees beside her daughter and wrapped her arms around her. "Oh, sweet Jesus," she whispered. "That poor child. He's been living like that for God knows how long. Alone, hungry, scared, and he never said a word. He never complained. He just kept smiling and helping and pretending everything was fine." Grace rocked her gently. "What are you going to do?" Emily pulled back and looked at her mother. Her eyes were red swollen but filled with determination. "I'm bringing him home. Tomorrow. I don't care what it takes. He's not spending another night in that place." Grace nodded slowly. "We don't have much, Emily. You know that." "I know." "And your savings, your modeling dream." "I know, Mama." Emily wiped her tears. "But some things are more important than dreams. That boy needs a family. He needs us, and we're not going to turn our backs on him." Grace's eyes glistened. "You're a good woman, Emily Carter. I raised you right. You raised me to love people the way God loves us. That's what I'm doing." That night, Emily couldn't stop pacing. She walked circles around her bedroom making plans. Tomorrow she would buy Noah new clothes. Tomorrow she would tell him the truth that she knew where he lived. Tomorrow she would bring him home. No more cold concrete floors. No more lonely nights. No more wondering if anyone in the world cared about him. She would give him everything she never had as a child. A safe home. A loving family. A chance. She finally fell asleep around 3 in the morning, exhausted, but hopeful. The alarm went off at 6. Emily jumped out of bed more energized than she had been in months. She went straight to the store before opening the shop. She bought shirts, jeans, underwear, socks, a warm jacket, and a brand new pair of sneakers. She arranged everything neatly in a gift bag. She imagined Noah's face when he saw it all. She imagined the look in his eyes when she told him he was coming home with her. She imagined his smile. By the time she opened the shop, her heart was overflowing with hope. The minutes crawled by. 8 o'clock, 8:30, 8:45. Where is he? 9 o'clock. Emily stepped outside and scanned the street. There, at the corner. Noah appeared walking quickly, almost running. His face lit up when he saw her. He waved that little hand she had come to love. Emily grinned and stepped forward, ready to call his name. That's when she heard it. The screech of tires. The roar of an engine. She looked to her left and saw a car barreling down the street. Way too fast, completely out of control. Heading straight for Noah. He didn't see it. He was looking at her, waving, smiling. "Noah, stop!" He didn't hear her. He kept running. The car hit him. His small body flew through the air and crashed onto the pavement with a sickening thud. The car didn't slow down. It didn't stop. The driver never even looked back. He just sped away, disappearing around the corner. Emily screamed. She ran faster than she had ever run in her life. Her legs pumped. Her lungs burned. The world blurred around her. She reached Noah and fell to her knees beside him. He was lying on his side. Blood trickled from a gash on his forehead. His eyes were half open, unfocused, glazed with pain. His breathing was shallow and ragged. "Noah? Noah, can you hear me?" His lips moved. No sound came out. "Stay with me, baby. Help is coming. Just stay with me." People gathered around them. Someone screamed for help. Someone else was on the phone with 911. A woman handed Emily a scarf to press against the wound. Emily cradled Noah's head in her lap, tears streaming down her face. "You're gonna be okay," she whispered. "I promise. I'm right here. I'm not going anywhere." His tiny hand reached up and grabbed her sleeve. "Auntie, Emily, I'm here, baby. I'm right here. Don't leave me." "Never. I'm never leaving you. Just hold on. Please, God, help him. Please don't take him from me." The ambulance arrived 7 minutes later. Paramedics swarmed around them, shouting instructions, checking vitals, loading Noah onto a stretcher. Emily jumped into the back of the ambulance. A paramedic tried to stop her. "Ma'am, are you family?" Emily didn't hesitate. "Yes, I'm his mother." The words felt right. They felt true. The ride to the hospital was the longest 10 minutes of Emily's life. She held Noah's limp hand the entire way, praying without ceasing. "Please, God, please save him. He's been through so much already. He deserves a chance. He deserves to live. Please don't take him from me. Please." When they arrived at Macon General Hospital, doctors rushed Noah into emergency surgery. The doors swung shut in Emily's face. She stood there frozen, staring at the doors. A nurse touched her arm. "Ma'am, you'll need to wait in the waiting room. We'll update you as soon as we can." Emily nodded numbly. She walked to the waiting room and collapsed into a plastic chair. Her hands were shaking. Her shirt was stained with Noah's blood. She closed her eyes and prayed. An hour later, Grace burst through the hospital doors. "Emily!" She ran to her daughter and pulled her into a fierce hug. "I came as fast as I could. What happened? How is he?" "He's in surgery." Emily's voice was hollow. "They don't know if he's going to make it." Grace grabbed her daughter's hands. "We're going to pray. We're going to believe. God didn't bring that boy into your life just to take him away." They sat together holding hands, praying silently. 2 hours passed. 3. 4. Every time the doors opened, Emily's head snapped up. Every time it was someone else. Some other family. Some other crisis. Finally, a doctor emerged. "Family of Noah." Emily jumped to her feet. "That's me. I'm his mother." The doctor's face was serious. "He made it through surgery. He's stable for now." Emily nearly collapsed with relief. "Thank God. Thank God." "But," the doctor continued, "he has significant internal injuries. He needs additional treatment, more tests, specialized medication. We need to start immediately." "Then start. Do whatever you have to do." The doctor hesitated. "There's the matter of payment. We don't have any insurance on file. And given the urgency of the treatment, we need payment up front before we can proceed." Emily's blood ran cold. "How much?" The doctor handed her a piece of paper. Emily looked at the number. $15,000, the exact amount in her savings box. 3 years of sacrifice. 3 years of dreams. 3 years of skipped meals and double shifts and telling herself, "Someday." All of it represented by that single number on that single piece of paper. Her modeling career. Her ticket to New York. Her chance at a different life. Or Noah's life. Emily stared at the paper. Her hands trembled. Grace put a hand on her shoulder. "Emily, I know, Mama. What does your heart tell you?" Emily closed her eyes. She saw Noah's face. The day they met. The way he looked at her food with desperate hunger. The way he ate without looking up. The way he thanked her with that tired, grateful smile. She saw him sweeping her shop floor. Helping customers. Calling Grace Grandma with tears in his eyes. She saw him hugging her, whispering, "I love you, Auntie Emily." She saw him lying in the street. Bleeding. Broken. Reaching for her sleeve. "Don't leave me." Emily opened her eyes. "I'll be back in 30 minutes, she said. She drove home in a daze. She walked into her bedroom and opened the closet. The wooden savings box sat on the top shelf, exactly where she had left it 3 years ago. She pulled it down and held it in her hands. 3 years. Every extra shift she worked. Every vacation she skipped. Every new dress she didn't buy. Every time she told herself, not yet but soon. It was all here, $15,000, her entire future. Emily set the box on her bed. She went to the kitchen and grabbed a hammer from the drawer. She stood over the box, hammer raised. Her hands shook. Tears rolled down her cheeks. "I'm sorry," she whispered, to herself, to the girl she used to be, to the dream she was about to destroy. "I'm so sorry." She swung the hammer. The box shattered. Money scattered across the bed onto the floor everywhere. Emily fell to her knees and gathered every bill. She stuffed them into a plastic bag, crying the entire time. Her dream was gone, just like that. Everything she had worked for, everything she had hoped for. Gone. But Noah was alive, and he needed her. She drove back to the hospital and walked straight to the billing counter. "I'm here to pay for Noah," she said, placing the bag on the counter. "All of it. Every dollar." The clerk counted the money carefully. Her eyebrows rose. $15,000 exactly. "Is it enough?" "Yes, ma'am. Treatment will begin immediately." Emily nodded. She turned and walked back to the waiting room. Grace was still there, praying silently. Emily sat down beside her mother and leaned her head on her shoulder. "It's done," she whispered. Grace took her hand. "What you just did was the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. I just did what anyone would do." "No," Grace's voice was firm. "You did what love does. You sacrificed everything for a child who isn't even yours by blood. That's not ordinary. That's extraordinary." Emily closed her eyes. Exhaustion washed over her like a wave. "He's mine, Mama. I don't care what anyone says. He's mine now." "I know, baby. I know." They sat together in silence, holding hands, waiting. The night stretched on. Nurses came and went. Other families paced the halls, crying, praying, hoping. At 3 in the morning, a nurse approached them. "Are you Noah's family?" Emily stood up quickly. "Yes, how is he?" The nurse smiled gently. "He's out of the woods. The treatment is working. He's going to be okay." Emily's knees buckled. Grace caught her before she fell. "Thank you," Emily sobbed. "Thank you so much." "He's asking for you," the nurse said. "He keeps saying Auntie Emily. Would you like to see him?" Emily wiped her tears and nodded. She followed the nurse down the hall to a small recovery room. Noah was lying in a hospital bed, looking pale and fragile, but alive. His eyes lit up when he saw her. "Auntie Emily," he whispered. She rushed to his side and took his hand. "I'm here, baby. I'm right here. I thought I was going to die." "You're not going anywhere. I won't let you." He squeezed her hand weakly. "I was so scared." "I know, sweetheart. But you're safe now. You're going to be okay." Tears slid down his cheeks. "I don't want to go back to that place. The building. I don't want to be alone anymore." Emily's heart shattered into a million pieces. "You're never going back there," she said firmly. "Never. Do you hear me? When you get out of this hospital, you're coming home with me. You're going to live with me and Grandma Grace. You're part of our family now." Noah's eyes widened. "Really? Really? I promise. No more sleeping on concrete. No more being alone. You have a home now. You have us." He started crying harder. Not from pain this time. From relief. From joy. From the overwhelming realization that someone in this world actually wanted him. "I love you, Auntie Emily," he sobbed. "I love you too, Noah. More than you'll ever know." She held his hand until he fell asleep. Then she sat in the chair beside his bed, watching him breathe, thanking God with every fiber of her being. Her savings were gone. Her dream was gone. The modeling career she had worked toward for 3 years had vanished in a single moment. But looking at Noah's peaceful face, Emily felt something she hadn't expected. Peace. Deep, profound, unshakable peace. She had given up everything. And somehow, it felt like she had gained even more. What Emily didn't know, what she couldn't possibly have known, was that her sacrifice had set something in motion. Somewhere across the country, in a penthouse office in Atlanta, a man was watching a viral video on his phone. A video of a hit-and-run accident in Macon, Georgia. A video of a woman screaming a little boy's name. A video that would change everything. 3 days had passed since the accident. Noah was getting stronger. The color had returned to his cheeks. He could sit up in bed without wincing. He could eat solid food again. The doctors said he was healing faster than they expected. But every time Emily tried to leave his hospital room, even just to use the restroom, Noah's hand shot out and grabbed her wrist. "Don't go." "I'm just going to the bathroom, sweetheart. I'll be right back." "Promise?" "I promise." She learned to announce every movement, every step, every absence, because the terror in his eyes when he thought she was leaving never fully disappeared. On the fourth morning, Dr. Patterson walked into the room with a clipboard and a smile. "Well, young man, I have some good news for you." Noah looked up, his fingers still wrapped around Emily's hand. "Your tests came back clean. No internal bleeding, no complications. You're healing beautifully." Dr. Patterson turned to Emily. "He can go home tomorrow." Noah's grip tightened. "Home?" Emily squeezed back. "Yes, baby. Home. With me and Grandma Grace." "You mean it? You really mean it?" "I really mean it." Noah's face crumpled. He started crying, but this time they were tears of joy. Pure, overwhelming, uncontainable joy. Dr. Patterson watched them with soft eyes. "I've been doing this job for 30 years. I've seen a lot of families come through these doors. Real families. Broken families. Fake families." He paused. "What you two have, that's the real thing." Emily wiped her eyes. "Thank you, doctor, for everything." "Thank her," Dr. Patterson said, nodding toward Emily. "She's the one who saved his life." After he left, Noah tugged on Emily's sleeve. "Auntie Emily." "Yes, sweetheart. Why did you do it?" "Do what?" "Save me. You didn't have to. I'm nobody. I'm just a homeless kid. Why did you give up all your money for me?" Emily felt her heart crack open all over again. She sat on the edge of his bed and cupped his face in her hands. "Listen to me, Noah. Listen carefully. You are not nobody. You are somebody. You are smart and kind and brave and strong. You are worth every dollar I had. You are worth more than every dollar in the whole world. Do you understand me?" His bottom lip trembled. "But your dream, your modeling dream. I heard the nurses talking. They said you gave up everything." "I didn't give up everything. I gained everything. I gained you." Noah threw his arms around her neck and sobbed into her shoulder. "I love you, Auntie Emily. I love you so much. I love you too, baby, more than you'll ever know." The next morning, Grace arrived at the hospital with a bag of new clothes for Noah. "Look what Grandma brought you," she said, pulling out a blue shirt, jeans, and brand new sneakers. "Can't have my grandson going home in a hospital gown." Noah's eyes went wide. "These are for me. Every single piece." He touched the fabric like it was made of gold. "I've never had new clothes before. Everything I ever wore was from the trash or the donation bins." Grace's eyes glistened. "Well, that's over now. From now on you wear what every other child wears. New clothes, clean clothes, clothes bought with love." Noah hugged her so tight she laughed. "Easy there, strong man. You'll break Grandma's ribs." Emily watched them embrace her heart so full it hurt. This was her family now, broken and beautiful and perfect. The discharge paperwork took 2 hours. Emily signed form after form listing herself as Noah's guardian. Nobody questioned it. Nobody asked for proof. They just saw a woman who loved a child and a child who loved her back. When they finally walked out of the hospital, Noah stopped at the entrance and looked up at the sky. "What's wrong?" Emily asked. "Nothing." He took a deep breath. I just forgot what fresh air smelled like." Emily's throat tightened. 4 days in a hospital room. Years in abandoned buildings. This child had been surviving, not living. That was about to change. The drive home took 20 minutes. Noah sat in the back seat, his face pressed against the window, watching the streets pass by. He didn't say much, but his eyes said everything. Wonder, disbelief, fear. When they pulled into the driveway of Emily's small house, Noah didn't move. "We're here," Emily said gently. He stared at the house like it might disappear if he blinked. "This is where you live. This is where we live, all three of us." Grace opened the back door and held out her hand. "Come on, baby. Let me show you your room." "My room. Your room." Noah took her hand and stepped out of the car. His legs were shaky. His eyes were wet. Grace led him inside through the small living room, down the narrow hallway to a door at the end. "Go ahead," she said. "Open it." Noah's hand trembled as he turned the knob. The room was small but clean. A single bed with fresh sheets and a blue comforter. A wooden dresser with a lamp. A window with curtains that let in the afternoon light. And on the pillow sat a stuffed bear with a red bow around its neck. Noah stood frozen in the doorway. "Is this really for me?" "All yours," Emily said. "Every inch of it." He walked in slowly, touching the bed, the dresser, the curtains. He picked up the stuffed bear and held it against his chest. Then he turned around, tears streaming down his face. "I've never had a room before. I've never had a bed. I've never had anything that was just mine." Emily crossed the room and pulled him into her arms. "Now you have everything. A room, a bed, a family. Everything." He cried for a long time. She held him until the tears stopped. That first night Noah couldn't sleep. Emily found him at 2 a.m, sitting on the edge of his bed, staring at the wall. "Hey, what's wrong?" He looked up at her with frightened eyes. "What if I wake up and this is all gone? What if it's just a dream?" Emily sat down beside him. "It's not a dream, Noah. This is real. I'm real. Grandma Grace is real. This house is real. And we're not going anywhere." "But what if you change your mind? What if you decide you don't want me anymore?" "That's never going to happen." "How do you know?" Emily took his hands in hers. "Because I made a promise, and I don't break my promises. You're stuck with me, Noah. Forever." He searched her face for any sign of doubt. Finding none, he finally relaxed. "Can you stay? Just until I fall asleep?" "Of course." She lay down beside him on the small bed, his head resting on her shoulder. Within minutes, his breathing slowed. His body went limp. He was asleep. Emily stayed there all night, watching over him like a guardian angel. The first week was an adjustment. Noah woke up at 5 every morning, unable to shake the survival instincts that had kept him alive on the streets. He hoarded food in his room, hiding pieces of bread and fruit under his pillow. He flinched whenever someone raised their voice. He apologized constantly for things that weren't his fault. "Sorry I used too much water. Sorry I made noise. Sorry I exist." Emily addressed each behavior with patience and love. "You don't need to hide food, sweetheart. There will always be more. You don't need to apologize for existing. You belong here. You don't need to be sorry for being a child." Slowly, gradually, the walls came down. By the second week, Noah started smiling more. He helped Grace in the kitchen without being asked. He swept the front porch every morning. He read books Emily bought him from the thrift store, sounding out each word with fierce concentration. "Auntie Emily, what does this word mean? Courage. It means being brave even when you're scared." "Like you?" Emily paused. "What do you mean?" "You were brave. You gave up everything for me. That took courage." Emily's eyes welled up. "You know what else takes courage? Starting over. Trusting people again. Learning to be part of a family. You're the bravest person I know, Noah." He beamed at her, and in that moment, Emily knew she had made the right choice. 3 weeks after Noah came home, Emily reopened her shop. She had no choice. The bills were piling up. The rent was due. The savings she had used to save Noah's life were gone, and there was nothing left to fall back on. Noah insisted on coming with her. "I want to help, like before." "You don't have to work, sweetheart. You're a child. You should be playing, not working." "But I like helping." "Please, Auntie Emily, let me come." She couldn't say no to those eyes. So Noah returned to his old routine, sweeping and organizing and charming customers with his polite smile. But now everything was different. Now he had clean clothes and a full stomach, and someone waiting for him at home. Customers noticed the change immediately. "Is that the same boy?" Mrs. Henderson asked, eyebrows raised. "He looks so healthy now." "He's been through a lot," Emily said, "but he's doing better." "I heard what happened, the accident, and what you did." Mrs. Henderson leaned closer. "You're a good woman, Emily Carter. God sees what you did." "I just did what anyone would do." "No, you did what very few would do. Don't sell yourself short." Emily smiled, but inside doubt gnawed at her. Had she made the right choice? Noah was thriving, yes. But the bills were suffocating her. She was working 16-hour days just to keep the lights on. Her body ached. Her dreams were gone. And some nights, when she lay awake staring at the ceiling, she wondered if she had destroyed her own future. Then Noah would come into her room with a glass of water and a worried face. "Are you okay, Auntie Emily? You looked sad today." And all her doubts would vanish. "I'm okay, sweetheart. I'm better than okay. I have you." 1 month after Noah came home, something unexpected happened. Emily was closing up the shop when her phone rang. Unknown number. "Hello. Is this Emily Carter?" "Yes. Who's calling?" "My name is David Reynolds. I'm a producer for Channel 7 News in Atlanta. I'm calling about the video." Emily's blood ran cold. "What video?" "The video of you and the little boy. The hit-and-run accident. It went viral 3 weeks ago. Over 2 million views." Emily's knees went weak. "I don't understand." "Someone filmed the whole thing. You running to the boy, holding him, screaming for help. It's all over the internet. People are calling you a hero." Emily grabbed the counter for support. "I'm not a hero. I just did what anyone would do." "That's exactly what a hero would say." David paused. "Listen, Ms. Carter, I'd like to interview you. Tell your story. The whole country wants to know who you are." "I don't want attention. I just want to take care of my son." "Your son?" David's voice softened. "So you adopted him?" "Not officially, but he's mine, in every way that matters." There was a long pause. "Ms. Carter, I think you should know something. After that video went viral, our station received dozens of calls. People wanting to help. People wanting to donate. People moved by what you did." Emily's heart stopped. "What?" "There's a lot of goodwill out there for you. If you let us tell your story, it could change your life." Emily thought about the unpaid bills on her kitchen table, the exhaustion in her bones, the dreams she had sacrificed. But she also thought about Noah, his privacy, his fragile healing. "I need to think about it," she said. "Of course. Take your time. Here's my number when you're ready." She hung up and stood in the empty shop, her mind racing. 2 million views, people calling her a hero, the whole country watching. What had she gotten herself into? That night she told Grace everything. Her mother listened in silence, then said, "What do you want to do?" "I don't know, Mama. Part of me wants to hide. Part of me thinks maybe this could help us. We're barely surviving. If people want to help, then let them help." Grace took her hand. "You've been carrying this family on your back for too long. Maybe it's time to let someone else carry you." Emily looked at Noah, who was sitting in the corner reading a book. What about him? What if this attention is too much? What if it hurts him? Ask him. Emily walked over and sat down beside Noah. "Hey, sweetheart, can I talk to you about something?" He closed his book immediately. Is something wrong? No, nothing's wrong, but I need your opinion. She explained about the video, the phone call, the interview request. Noah listened carefully. When she finished, he asked, "Would it help us? Would it make things easier?" "It might. I don't know for sure." "Then do it." His voice was firm. "You saved my life, Auntie Emily. If telling our story helps us survive, then we should tell it." Emily stared at him, amazed by his maturity. "Are you sure people might recognize you, ask you questions, invade our privacy?" "I don't care. As long as we're together, I don't care about anything else." Emily pulled him into a hug. "How did you get so wise?" "I learned from you." The next morning, Emily called David Reynolds back. "I'll do the interview, but I have conditions." "Name them." "You don't film Noah's face, you don't use his real name, and you focus on the story of kindness, not trauma. I won't let you exploit a child's pain for ratings." There was a pause. Then David said, "Deal, I'll send a crew next week." Emily hung up her hands, shaking. She had no idea what she had just set in motion. 6 days later, a news van pulled up in front of her shop. David Reynolds was younger than she expected, maybe 35, with kind eyes and a firm handshake. "Thank you for agreeing to this, Ms. Carter. Call me Emily." "Emily." He smiled. "Before we start, I want you to know something. I've been in this business for 12 years. I've covered wars and disasters and political scandals. But your story, what you did for that boy, it's the most beautiful thing I've ever heard." Emily felt her cheeks flush. "I just did what anyone would do." "You keep saying that, but we both know it's not true." The interview lasted 2 hours. Emily told her story from the beginning, meeting Noah, feeding him, following him to the abandoned building, the accident, the hospital, the $15,000. She cried 3 times. David cried once. When it was over, he shook her hand again. "This is going to air on Friday. I hope you're ready." "Ready for what?" "For your life to change." Emily laughed nervously. "My life has already changed more than I ever imagined." David smiled mysteriously. "You have no idea what's coming." Friday arrived. Emily, Grace, and Noah sat together on the couch, watching Channel 7 News. The segment started with the viral video. Emily running, screaming, holding Noah's broken body. Then David's voice narrated the story. The homeless boy, the struggling shop owner, the impossible choice, the sacrifice. Emily watched herself on screen, talking about love and family and faith. "I didn't think twice," TV Emily said. "That money was supposed to be my future. But in that moment, I realized my future was lying in a hospital bed fighting for his life. How could I walk away from that?" The segment ended with a shot of Emily and Noah walking hand in hand, their faces blurred for privacy. Emily Carter gave up everything for a child she barely knew, David concluded. And in doing so, she showed us all what it truly means to love. The screen went dark. For a moment, nobody spoke. Then Noah whispered, "You're famous now, Auntie Emily." Emily laughed and cried at the same time. "I don't want to be famous. I just want to be your mom." "You already are." The phone started ringing. And it didn't stop ringing all night. Donations poured in. Strangers from across the country sent money cards, letters. A GoFundMe page someone had created without Emily's knowledge raised $30,000 in 48 hours. Emily was overwhelmed, grateful, terrified. But what she didn't know, what no one knew, was that among the millions who watched that news segment was a man in Atlanta. A man who had been searching for something he had lost. A man who recognized Noah's walk, Noah's voice, Noah's mannerisms. A man who dropped his coffee cup when he saw the blurred image on screen. A man who whispered one word, his voice cracking with 4 years of grief and hope. "Son." Daniel Harrison hadn't slept in 4 years. Not really. Not deeply. Not without waking up in cold sweats reaching for a small hand that was no longer there. 4 years ago, his world had ended on a highway in Tennessee. A truck driver fell asleep at the wheel. The collision sent Daniel's car spinning off the road, rolling 3 times before crashing into a ditch. When Daniel woke up in the hospital, his wife was dead. His 4-year-old son was missing. Rescuers searched for days, but found nothing. They told him to accept the worst. They told him his son had probably been thrown from the vehicle and carried away by the river. They told him to move on. Daniel refused. He hired private investigators. He posted flyers in every state. He appeared on missing children networks. He spent millions of dollars and countless sleepless nights searching for a boy the whole world believed was dead. Everyone told him he was crazy. His friends, his family, his therapists. But Daniel knew. Somewhere deep in his bones he knew his son was alive. And now, sitting in his Atlanta penthouse, staring at a news segment on Channel 7, Daniel Harrison finally had proof. The boy's face was blurred. His name was changed. But Daniel recognized the walk, the posture, the way he tilted his head when he listened, the way he held the woman's hand with both of his. That was his son. That was Noah. Daniel grabbed his phone and called his head of security. "Marcus, I need you to find someone, now." "Sir, it's 11 at night. I don't care what time it is. I just saw my son on television. He's alive. He's in Georgia. Find him." Silence on the other end. "Your son, sir? Are you certain?" "I've never been more certain of anything in my life." "Find him, Marcus. Whatever it takes." 72 hours later, Marcus called back. "I found him, sir. The boy is living with a woman named Emily Carter in Macon, Georgia. She runs a small convenience store on Pine Street. The boy has been staying with her for about 6 weeks." Daniel's hands shook so badly he nearly dropped the phone. "Are you sure it's him?" "I had our facial recognition team analyze the unblurred footage from bystander videos of the accident. It's a 94% match to your son's childhood photos." Daniel closed his eyes. Tears streamed down his face. "Prepare the cars. We're leaving in 1 hour." "Sir, shouldn't we contact the authorities first? If this is really your son?" "No authorities, no police. Not yet. I need to see him with my own eyes first. I need to be sure." "Understood, sir." Daniel hung up and walked to his bedroom closet. In the back, behind rows of expensive suits, sat a small cardboard box. He hadn't opened it in 3 years. It hurt too much. He opened it now. Inside were photographs, toys, a tiny pair of shoes, and a birth certificate. Noah Daniel Harrison, born March 15, 2018. Daniel pressed the birth certificate to his chest and wept. "I'm coming, son. Daddy's coming." Thursday morning, 9:47 a.m. Emily was arranging products on the shelf when Noah tugged her sleeve. "Auntie Emily, there are fancy cars outside." She looked up. Through the shop window, she saw 4 black SUVs pulling up in front of her store. Not just any SUVs. Luxury vehicles with tinted windows and polished chrome. Her stomach dropped. "Stay behind me, Noah." "What's happening?" "I don't know. Just stay close." The door of the first SUV opened. A man stepped out. He was tall, maybe 6 feet, with graying hair and expensive clothes. His face was pale, his eyes red-rimmed, his hands trembling visibly even from a distance. He didn't look at the shop. He didn't look at Emily. He looked directly at Noah, and then he started running. "Noah!" he screamed. "Noah!" Emily instinctively pushed Noah behind her. "Who are you? What do you want?" The man ignored her completely. He dropped to his knees in front of Noah, tears streaming down his face. My son. It's really you." Noah's face went white. He grabbed Emily's arm and pressed himself against her back. "I don't know you," he whispered. "Auntie Emily, I don't know this man." Emily's heart was pounding. "Sir, you need to back away. You're scaring him." The man looked up at her for the first time. His eyes were wild with emotion. "I'm his father. My name is Daniel Harrison. I've been searching for him for 4 years." Emily felt the ground shift beneath her feet. "His father Noah told me he didn't have any family. He was 4 years old when I lost him. He probably doesn't remember." Daniel reached into his jacket and pulled out a photograph. "This is his mother. She died the day he was born. And this," he pulled out another photo. "This is Noah on his 3rd birthday." Emily stared at the photograph. The resemblance was undeniable. The same eyes, the same nose, the same dimple on the left cheek. Her hands started shaking. "That's impossible. How did you lose him?" Daniel's voice cracked. "We were in a car accident. My wife's sister was driving us to a family reunion. A truck hit us. The car rolled. When I woke up, my wife was dead and Noah was gone. They searched everywhere. They told me he died. They told me to give up." He looked at Noah with desperate, pleading eyes. "But I never gave up. I never stopped looking. 4 years, Noah. 4 years I've been searching for you." Noah was trembling violently behind Emily. His breath came in short, panicked gasps. "I don't remember," he said. "I don't remember any of this." "You were so young," Daniel said gently. "You wouldn't remember. But I remember everything. I remember your first word. I remember your first steps. I remember the way you used to fall asleep on my chest every night." He reached out his hand slowly. "Please, son. Please look at me." Noah didn't move. He kept his face pressed against Emily's back. "I don't want to go with him," he whispered. "Please don't make me go." Emily's heart shattered into a million pieces. She turned around and crouched down to Noah's level. "Nobody is going to make you do anything you don't want to do, I promise." She stood up and faced Daniel. "Mr. Harrison, I understand this is emotional for you, but this child has been through tremendous trauma. He's terrified. You can't just show up and expect him to run into your arms." Daniel's face crumpled. I know. I've waited so long. I've imagined this moment 1,000 times. And I'm sure Noah imagined having a father 1,000 times too. But right now he doesn't know you. You're a stranger to him. If you really love him, you'll give him space." Daniel wiped his eyes and nodded slowly. "You're right. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to scare him." He took a step back, then another. "Can I ask you something, Miss Carter?" "Emily." "Emily." He took a shaky breath. "How did you find him? How did he end up with you?" Emily told him everything. The first day Noah appeared at her shop, the weeks of feeding him, following him to the abandoned building, the accident, the hospital, the $15,000. By the time she finished, Daniel was sobbing openly. "You gave up your entire savings for a child you barely knew. He wasn't just some child. He was Noah, and I would do it again in a heartbeat." Daniel stared at her with a mixture of awe and gratitude. "You saved my son's life. You saved him when I couldn't. I just did what anyone would do." "No." Daniel shook his head firmly. "No, most people would have walked away. Most people would have called social services and let the system handle it. You gave up everything. Your dreams, your future, everything." He reached into his pocket and pulled out a business card. "I own Harrison Technologies. We develop software for Fortune 500 companies. I have resources, connections. Whatever you need, whatever Noah needs, I will provide it." Emily looked at the card, but didn't take it. "I don't want your money, Mr. Harrison." "Then what do you want?" "I want what's best for Noah. That's all I've ever wanted." Daniel studied her face for a long moment. "The news segment. The interview. You didn't do it for attention, did you? You did it because you were struggling, because you sacrificed everything and had nothing left." Emily didn't answer. She didn't have to. "Please," Daniel said quietly, "let me help you. Let me help my son. I'm not asking to take him away from you. I can see how much he loves you, how much he needs you. I'm asking for a chance. That's all. A chance to know my son again." Emily looked back at Noah, who was watching the conversation with terrified eyes. "It's not my decision to make, it's his." She walked over to Noah and knelt down. "Sweetheart, I need you to listen to me very carefully. That man says he's your father. He says he's been looking for you for a very long time. I don't know if his story is true, but I need you to tell me what you want. Do you want to talk to him? Do you want him to leave? Whatever you decide, I'll make it happen." Noah's eyes filled with tears. "What if it's true? What if he's really my daddy?" "Then that's a good thing. It means you have more people who love you." "But what about you? What about Grandma Grace? Will I have to leave?" Emily cupped his face in her hands. "You will never have to leave. Not unless you want to. I promised you a home and I meant it. No matter what happens, you will always have a place with me." Noah threw his arms around her neck. "I'm scared, Auntie Emily." "I know, baby. I'm scared too." She held him for a long time. When she finally pulled back, his face had changed. The terror was still there, but underneath it was something else. Curiosity. Hope. "Can he come back tomorrow? I need time to think." Emily nodded and stood up. "Mr. Harrison, Noah needs time. Can you give him that?" "Of course. Whatever he needs. Come back tomorrow, same time. We'll talk more." Daniel's eyes lit up with hope. "Thank you. Thank you so much." He turned to leave, then stopped. "Emily." "Yes. I know you don't trust me yet, and you have every reason not to. But I need you to know something. That boy is my entire world. I would die for him. I would kill for him. And I will spend the rest of my life making up for the years I lost." He walked back to his SUV, and the 4 vehicles drove away. Emily stood in the doorway watching them disappear. Her whole body was shaking. Noah tugged her sleeve. "Auntie Emily, what do we do now?" She took a deep breath and forced a smile. "Now we go home, and we figure this out together." That evening, Emily called David Reynolds. "I need your help. Can you look into someone for me? His name is Daniel Harrison. He claims to be Noah's biological father." David was quiet for a moment. "Daniel Harrison, as in Harrison Technologies." "Daniel Harrison. I don't know. Is that someone important?" Emily, Daniel Harrison is one of the wealthiest men in the Southeast. His company is worth over $2 billion. He's been in the news for years because of his son's disappearance. The whole country followed that story. Emily's knees went weak. $2 billion. Yeah. And if Noah is really his son, this is the biggest missing child recovery story in a decade. Emily sat down heavily on her couch. "I need to know if he's telling the truth. I need proof. I'll look into it. Give me 24 hours. Thank you, David." She hung up and stared at the ceiling. $2 billion. Luxury cars. Private investigators. And this man wanted her Noah. What chance did she have against someone like that? The next morning, David called back. "It's true. All of it. Daniel Harrison's son Noah disappeared 4 years ago after a car accident in Tennessee. The boy was presumed dead, but the body was never found. Harrison has spent millions searching for him. He's been featured on every missing children program in the country." Emily's heart sank. So he's really Noah's father. DNA will confirm it, but based on the timeline, the photos, and the facial recognition analysis, yes, this is almost certainly his son. Emily hung up and walked to Noah's room. He was sitting on his bed holding the stuffed bear she had given him. "Noah, can we talk?" He looked up with worried eyes. "Is it about that man?" "Yes." Emily sat down beside him. "I did some research. His story checks out. He really has been looking for you for 4 years. He really is your father." Noah's face crumpled. But I don't remember him. I don't remember anything. You were very young when you lost each other. It's normal not to remember. What happened to me? How did I end up alone? Emily took his hands in hers. I don't know all the details, but there was a car accident. Your mother died. You were separated from your father. Somehow you ended up on the streets. For 4 years. Yes, sweetheart. You survived on your own for 4 years. Noah's eyes filled with tears. I remember bits and pieces, shelters, strangers, running away from bad people. I thought nobody wanted me. I thought I was thrown away like garbage. Emily pulled him into her arms. You were never garbage. You were lost. And now you're found. But I don't want to be found. I want to stay with you. Nobody is taking you away from me. I promise. He cried into her shoulder for a long time. When Daniel Harrison arrived at 10 a.m., sharp Noah was standing beside Emily at the door. His small hand gripped hers tightly, but his chin was lifted. His eyes were clear. I have questions, he said to Daniel, and I want real answers. Daniel nodded solemnly. Ask me anything. What was my mother's name? Sarah. Sarah Michelle Harrison. She had your eyes, the exact same shade of brown. What was my favorite toy when I was little? A stuffed elephant named Peanut. You took him everywhere. You cried for 3 days when we accidentally left him at a restaurant. Noah's lip trembled. What did you call me? Did I have a nickname? Daniel's voice cracked. I called you Little Bear, because you used to growl when you were hungry. Noah let out a sound that was half sob, half laugh. I still do that. Auntie Emily always teases me about it. Daniel stepped closer, his eyes swimming with tears. I know you don't remember me. I know I'm a stranger to you. But I remember everything, Noah. I remember the first time you smiled. I remember teaching you to walk. I remember singing you to sleep every night. You were my whole world. And when I lost you, I lost myself too. Noah stared at him for a long, agonizing moment. Then he whispered, Can I see a picture of my mom? Daniel reached into his jacket and pulled out a worn photograph. This is the only picture I have of all 3 of us together. The day you were born. Noah took the photograph with trembling hands. A woman with kind eyes and a beautiful smile lay in a hospital bed holding a newborn baby. Beside her stood a younger Daniel beaming with joy. Noah traced his finger over the woman's face. She's pretty. She was beautiful, inside and out, and she loved you more than anything in this world. Tears rolled down Noah's cheeks. I wish I remembered her. I'll help you remember. I have videos, photos, stories. I'll tell you everything. Noah looked up at Emily. Auntie Emily, can he show me the videos? Emily's heart clenched. She didn't want to share Noah with anyone. But she knew this wasn't about her. Of course, sweetheart, if that's what you want. Daniel looked at Emily with overwhelming gratitude. Thank you. I know this isn't easy for you. You've been his mother in every way that matters. I don't want to replace you. I just want to be part of his life again. Emily nodded slowly. Then we'll figure this out. Together. For the next 3 hours, Daniel showed Noah videos on his tablet. Baby Noah taking his first steps. Baby Noah blowing out birthday candles. Baby Noah splashing in a bathtub laughing hysterically. With each video, Noah's walls came down a little more. He started asking questions. Then he started laughing. Then he started leaning closer to Daniel. By late afternoon, something had shifted. Noah looked at Daniel with different eyes. Not trust, not yet, but something close to recognition. Something like hope. Mr. Daniel. You can call me Dad if you want. Or Daniel. Whatever feels right. Noah thought about it. Can I call you Daddy later when I'm ready? Daniel's eyes filled with tears. You can call me anything you want whenever you're ready. I'll wait forever if I have to. Noah nodded slowly. Then he did something that shocked everyone in the room. He reached out and took Daniel's hand. Just for a moment. Just a brief squeeze. But it was enough. Daniel broke down sobbing. Emily covered her mouth, tears streaming down her face. And Noah, for the first time since she met him, looked like a boy who might actually believe he was loved. 2 weeks had passed since Daniel Harrison walked into Emily's life. Everything was different now. Everything was changing in ways Emily never could have imagined. Daniel visited every single day, sometimes twice. He brought gifts for Noah, toys and books and clothes that probably cost more than Emily's monthly rent. He brought groceries for the house. He offered to pay bills, fix the roof, replace the old refrigerator that kept making strange noises. Emily refused most of it. "I don't need charity, Mr. Harrison." "It's not charity, it's gratitude." "It feels like charity." Daniel studied her face with those intense eyes. "You're the most stubborn woman I've ever met." "Thank you. I take that as a compliment." Despite her resistance, Emily couldn't deny that Noah was flourishing. Each day he opened up a little more. He started calling Daniel by his first name. He started asking questions about his mother, his childhood, the life he couldn't remember. He started laughing at Daniel's jokes, but every night without fail, Noah came back to Emily. "Good night, Auntie Emily." "Good night, sweetheart." "I love you." "I love you too." He would hug her tightly, pressing his face against her shoulder, as if reassuring himself that she was still there, that she wasn't going anywhere. And Emily would hold him just as tightly, silently terrified of the day she might have to let go. 3 weeks after Daniel's arrival, Grace pulled Emily aside. "We need to talk." Emily followed her mother into the kitchen. "What's wrong, Mama?" "Nothing's wrong, but I need to ask you something, and I need you to be honest with me." "Okay." Grace fixed her with a penetrating stare. "Are you falling in love with that man?" Emily nearly choked on her own breath. "What? No. Mama. That's ridiculous." "Is it because I see the way you look at him when you think nobody's watching? I see the way your face lights up when his car pulls into the driveway. I see the way you laugh at his jokes, even the ones that aren't funny." Emily's cheeks burned. "He's Noah's father. We're just co-parenting, that's all?" Grace raised an eyebrow. Mama, stop looking at me like that." "Like what?" "Like you know something I don't." Grace smiled and patted her daughter's cheek. "Baby, I've known you for 28 years. I know when you're lying, and I know when you're scared." "I'm not scared." "Yes, you are. You're scared because you're feeling things you didn't plan to feel. You're scared because you think you're not good enough for a man like him. You're scared because if you let yourself love him and he walks away, it'll break you." Emily's eyes filled with tears. "He's a billionaire, Mama. He lives in a penthouse in Atlanta. He drives cars that cost more than our house. What could he possibly see in me?" Grace took her daughter's hands. "He sees what I see. A woman with a heart so big she gave up everything for a child she barely knew. A woman who works 16-hour days without complaining. A woman who loves fiercely and loyally and completely. That's what he sees. You don't know that. I know more than you think. That man looks at you the same way you look at him. The only difference is he's not afraid to admit it." Emily wiped her eyes. "Even if that were true, it could never work. We're from different worlds. Love doesn't care about worlds, baby. Love only cares about hearts." Grace kissed her forehead and walked away, leaving Emily alone with her thoughts. 4 weeks after Daniel's arrival, something unexpected happened. Daniel arrived at the house at his usual time, but instead of playing with Noah, he asked to speak with Emily privately. "Can we talk? Just the two of us?" Emily's heart skipped. "Of course." They walked out to the small backyard and sat on the old wooden bench. "What's this about?" Emily asked. Daniel was quiet for a long moment. When he finally spoke, his voice was thick with emotion. "Your mother told me something yesterday. Something you never mentioned. Emily's stomach dropped. What did she tell you? About your savings, about the $15,000, about your modeling dream. Emily closed her eyes. Mama shouldn't have said anything. Why didn't you tell me? Because it doesn't matter. It matters to me. Daniel turned to face her fully. Emily, you worked for 3 years to save that money. You had a dream, a real tangible dream, and you gave it all up without a second thought. For a child you'd known for less than 2 months, for my son. I told you I just did what anyone would do. Stop saying that, his voice cracked. Stop diminishing what you did. You sacrificed everything. Your future, your dreams, everything you'd been working toward. And you did it for Noah. You did it for a homeless little boy who had nothing to offer you in return. Emily felt tears rolling down her cheeks. He had everything to offer. He had love. He had gratitude. He had a smile that made every sacrifice worth it. Daniel reached out and took her hand. You are the most extraordinary woman I have ever met. Emily's breath caught. Daniel, I mean it. In my world, people don't sacrifice anything for anyone. They take, they scheme, they manipulate. But you gave up everything without asking for anything in return. I didn't know people like you still existed. Emily looked down at their intertwined fingers. I'm not extraordinary. I'm just someone who got lucky. Lucky enough to find Noah. Lucky enough to have a mother who taught me the value of love over money. Lucky enough to survive long enough to see him thrive. It's not luck. It's character. It's the kind of character money can't buy. They sat in silence for a long moment, hands still clasped together. Then Daniel spoke again. Emily, I need to tell you something, and I need you to let me finish before you respond. Her heart was pounding. Okay. I've spent the last 4 years searching for Noah. I've spent millions of dollars. I've hired hundreds of people. I've traveled to dozens of cities. And every night when I went to bed alone in that big empty penthouse, I prayed. I prayed that wherever my son was, someone was taking care of him. Someone was feeding him. Someone was loving him. His voice broke. God answered my prayers. He sent you. Emily's tears fell freely now. Daniel. But here's the thing. When I started coming here, when I started spending time with you and Noah, I felt something I haven't felt in years. I felt hope. I felt joy. I felt like maybe, just maybe, I could be happy again. He squeezed her hand tighter. And then I realized it wasn't just about Noah. It was about you. The way you laugh. The way you care for him. The way you stood up to me that first day, protecting him like a lioness protecting her cub. The way you refused my money because you have too much pride to accept anything you didn't earn. Emily's heart was racing so fast she could barely breathe. I know this is complicated. I know we're from different worlds. I know there are 1,000 reasons why this shouldn't work. But I also know that I care about you, Emily. I care about you more than I've cared about anyone since my wife died. He looked into her eyes. I'm not asking for anything. I'm not expecting anything. I just needed you to know the truth. Whatever happens next, I needed you to know. Emily sat frozen, her mind spinning. This couldn't be happening. Men like Daniel Harrison didn't fall for women like her. This was a fairy tale. This was a dream she would wake up from any moment. But his hand was warm and real in hers. His eyes were sincere. His voice was trembling with vulnerability. This was real. Daniel, she whispered, I don't know what to say. You don't have to say anything. Not now. Take all the time you need. It's not that simple. Why not? Because I feel the same way. Daniel's eyes widened. You do? Emily laughed through her tears. Of course I do. I've been fighting it for weeks, telling myself it was impossible, telling myself I was crazy, but my mama saw right through me. She always does. Grace told you. She told me I was falling in love with you. I denied it, but she was right. She's always right. Daniel's face transformed. The tension melted away. In its place was something Emily had never seen before. Pure, unguarded joy. Emily Carter, can I ask you something? Yes. Can I take you to dinner? A real dinner. Just the two of us. Like a proper first date. Emily laughed. Daniel, you're a billionaire. I run a convenience store. Where could you possibly take me that wouldn't make me feel completely out of place? How about the diner down the street? The one with the neon sign that flickers. Emily stared at him. You want to go to Big Earl's? I want to go wherever you feel comfortable. I don't care about fancy restaurants. I care about you. Emily felt something shift inside her heart. Something that had been locked away for years. Okay, she whispered. Yes, I'll go to dinner with you. Daniel smiled so wide it transformed his entire face. Tomorrow night, 7 o'clock. Tomorrow night. He lifted her hand to his lips and kissed it gently. Thank you, Emily. For everything. For saving my son. For letting me into your life. For giving me a reason to hope again. Emily watched him walk away, her heart so full it ached. For the first time in years, she allowed herself to believe that maybe, just maybe, good things could happen to people like her. The next evening, Daniel arrived at exactly 7 o'clock. He was wearing jeans and a simple button-down shirt. No designer labels. No expensive accessories. He looked almost normal. Noah ran to the door. Daddy? You look different. Emily's heart stopped. Daddy. It was the first time Noah had called him that. Daniel dropped to his knees, tears springing to his eyes. What did you call me? Noah grinned. Daddy. Is that okay? Can I call you that now? Daniel pulled him into a fierce hug. You can call me that forever. I've been waiting to hear that word for 4 years. Emily watched them embrace, tears streaming down her own face. Grace appeared beside her. See, I told you, everything is working out exactly as it should. Emily hugged her mother. Thank you, Mama, for everything. Go have your date. I'll take care of Noah. Are you sure? I'm positive. Go fall in love. You've earned it. The dinner at Big Earl's was perfect. They talked for 3 hours. About everything. About nothing. About their childhoods, their dreams, their fears. Daniel told Emily about his late wife, about the guilt he carried, about the years of searching. Emily told Daniel about her father abandoning them, about the poverty, about the dreams she had buried. I wanted to be someone, Emily admitted. I wanted to prove that a girl from nowhere could become something. You are something. You're the most important person in my son's life. In my life. Emily shook her head. That's not what I meant. I know what you meant, and I want to tell you something. Daniel reached across the table and took her hand. Your dream isn't dead, Emily. What do you mean? I made a phone call yesterday to the Royal Crest Modeling Academy. Emily's blood ran cold. What? I told them your story. I told them about your sacrifice. I told them about the woman who gave up her entire future to save a homeless child's life. Daniel, what did you do? They want you, Emily. Full scholarship. All expenses paid, tuition, housing, travel, everything. The spot is yours if you want it. Emily couldn't breathe. That's impossible. The program costs thousands of dollars. The waiting list is years long. Money talks. But that's not why they accepted you. They accepted you because your story moved them. Because you represent everything they want their models to embody. Compassion, sacrifice, inner beauty that shines through. Emily's hands were shaking. I can't accept this. Why not? Because it feels like charity. Because I didn't earn it. Daniel leaned forward. Emily, you gave up $15,000 to save a child's life. You earned this 1,000 times over. The universe owes you this. Let me be the one who pays that debt. Tears streamed down Emily's face. But what about Noah? What about us? The program is 9 months in New York. I can't leave him. I can't leave you. Noah has me now. He has Grace. We'll take care of him. We'll video chat every night. And when you graduate, when you've achieved your dream, we'll all be waiting for you right here. I don't know if I can do this. You can do anything, Emily. You've proven that 100 times over. Emily looked into his eyes. Why are you doing this? Why do you care so much about my dreams? Daniel's voice was soft. Because you cared about my son when nobody else did. Because you sacrificed everything without asking for anything in return. Because I love you, Emily Carter. And when you love someone, you want them to have everything they ever dreamed of. Emily's heart stopped. You love me. I love you. I've been falling in love with you since the moment you stood in front of my son, like a mama bear protecting her cub. I love your strength. I love your stubbornness. I love the way you see the best in people, even when they don't deserve it. Daniel? You don't have to say it back. I just needed you to know. Emily reached across the table and cupped his face in her hands. I love you too, she whispered. I've been fighting it for weeks because I was scared, but I'm not scared anymore. Daniel's eyes glistened. You're not... No, because I finally understand something my mama has been trying to teach me my whole life. What's that? That love isn't about where you come from or how much money you have. Love is about two people who see each other, really see each other, and choose each other anyway. Daniel leaned across the table and kissed her. It was soft and tender and perfect. When they pulled apart, Emily was crying again. I'll do it, she whispered. Do what? The program. I'll go to New York. I'll chase my dream. Daniel's face lit up. You mean it? I mean it. But you have to promise me something. Anything. Promise me Noah will be okay. Promise me you'll take care of him like I would. Promise me you'll send me videos every day so I don't miss a single moment of his life. I promise. I promise you everything. Emily took a deep breath. Then I'm going to do it. I'm going to become a model. Daniel stood up and pulled her into his arms right there in the middle of Big Earl's diner. I am so proud of you, Emily Carter. She laughed and cried at the same time. I haven't done anything yet. You've done more than you know, and this is just the beginning. When they got back to the house, Noah was waiting at the door. How was your date? Did you have fun? Did you kiss? Emily laughed. Too many questions, young man. So you did kiss Grandma Grace. They kissed. Grace appeared behind him, smiling. I knew it. Didn't I tell you, Emily? Didn't I say everything would work out? Yes, Mama. You were right. As always. Daniel crouched down to Noah's level. Hey, buddy. Can we talk about something important? Noah's face grew serious. What is it, Daddy? Auntie Emily has a very special opportunity, a chance to follow her dream, but it means she has to go away for a while. Noah's eyes widened with fear. Go away. No, she can't leave. She promised she wouldn't leave. Emily knelt beside him. Sweetheart, I'm not leaving forever. I'm going to a special school in New York for 9 months. It's something I've dreamed about my whole life. And your daddy made it possible for me to go. But what about me? You'll stay here with Daddy and Grandma Grace, and I'll call you every single day. We'll video chat every night before bed. You won't miss me at all because I'll be right there on the screen. Noah's lip trembled. It's not the same. I know, baby, but here's the thing. Emily took his hands. You taught me something important. You taught me that sometimes you have to be brave even when you're scared. You survived alone on the streets for 4 years because you were brave. Now it's my turn to be brave. Can you understand that? Noah was quiet for a long moment. Then he nodded slowly. Okay, but you have to promise to come back. I promise. I will always come back to you." He threw his arms around her neck. "I love you, Auntie Emily." "I love you too, sweetheart. More than all the stars in the sky." Later that night, after Noah was asleep, Daniel and Emily sat on the front porch together. "Are you sure about this?" Daniel asked. "I don't want to pressure you into anything." "You're not pressuring me. You're setting me free." Emily leaned her head on his shoulder. "For years I thought I had to choose between my dreams and taking care of the people I love. You showed me I don't have to choose. I can have both. You deserve both. So do you." She looked up at him. "You spent 4 years searching for your son. You never gave up. You kept believing when everyone told you to move on. That takes a special kind of strength." "I had no choice. He's my son." "You had a choice. You could have accepted what everyone told you. You could have moved on, started over, had more children. But you didn't. You kept fighting. That's not obligation. That's love." Daniel pulled her closer. "I never thought I'd feel this way again. After Sarah died, I thought that part of my life was over. I thought I'd spend the rest of my years alone. And now I have Noah. I have you. I have Grace, who keeps insisting I call her Mama." Emily laughed. "She does that. Once she adopts you, you're stuck." "I don't mind being stuck, not with this family." They sat in comfortable silence, watching the stars. "Emily." "Yes. When you come back from New York, I want to do this right." "Do what right?" "Us. I want to date you properly, take you places, buy you flowers, meet your friends, all the normal things couples do." Emily smiled. "I'd like that. And after that, when the time is right, I want to ask you something important." Her heart skipped. "Important? How?" Daniel kissed her forehead. "You'll find out when you come back." Emily didn't push for more. She didn't need to. She already knew what he meant. And for the first time in her life, she wasn't afraid of the future. She was running toward it. The morning Emily left for New York was the hardest day of her life. Noah clung to her at the airport, his small arms wrapped so tightly around her neck that Grace had to gently pry him away. "Don't go," he sobbed. "Please don't go." Emily knelt down and cupped his face in her hands. "Listen to me, sweetheart. I am not abandoning you. I am not leaving forever. I am going to chase a dream, and when I come back, I will be the woman you always believed I could be." "But what if you forget about me? Forget about you?" Emily laughed through her tears. "Noah Harrison, you are the reason I'm alive today. You saved me just as much as I saved you. How could I ever forget the person who changed my entire life?" Daniel placed his hand on Noah's shoulder. "Son, remember what we talked about being brave?" Noah nodded reluctantly. "This is Auntie Emily's turn to be brave, and we're going to support her, right?" Noah wiped his eyes and took a deep breath. "Right." He looked at Emily one more time. "I love you, Auntie Emily, more than all the stars." "I love you too, baby, more than all the galaxies." She kissed his forehead, then turned to Grace. "Take care of my boys, Mama." Grace smiled through her own tears. "I've been taking care of you for 28 years. I think I can handle 2 more." They embraced tightly. "I'm proud of you," Grace whispered. "Your daddy would be proud too, wherever he is." Emily pulled back, surprised. "You've never mentioned Daddy before." "Because he doesn't deserve to be mentioned. But I want you to know something. He left because he was weak. You're leaving because you're strong. There's a difference. Don't ever forget that." Emily nodded, unable to speak. Finally, she turned to Daniel. He didn't say anything. He just pulled her into his arms and held her like she was the most precious thing in the world. 9 months. He whispered into her hair. 9 months. I'll be counting every day. Me too. He pulled back and looked into her eyes. Go become the woman you were always meant to be. And when you come back, I'll be waiting. We'll all be waiting. Emily kissed him one last time, then walked through the security gate. She didn't look back. If she looked back, she wouldn't be able to leave. The first month in New York was brutal. 12-hour days. Ruthless instructors. Competition from girls who had been training since childhood. Emily was older than most of the students, less experienced, and completely out of her element. But she refused to give up. Every night she video called Noah. "How was your day, Auntie Emily?" "Hard, but good. I'm learning so much." "Did you walk on the runway today?" "I did, and I only tripped once." "That's better than yesterday. You tripped 3 times yesterday." Emily laughed. "Thanks for keeping count." "Daddy says practice makes perfect." "Daddy's right. How is he?" "He's good. He took me fishing yesterday. I caught a fish this big." Noah spread his arms wide. "That's a huge fish." "Grandma Grace cooked it for dinner. She said I'm a natural fisherman." "I'm so proud of you, sweetheart." "I'm proud of you too, Auntie Emily." Those calls kept her going. Every discouraging comment from an instructor, every failed runway walk, every moment of doubt was erased the moment she heard Noah's voice. She wasn't just doing this for herself anymore. She was doing it for him, for Daniel, for Grace, for everyone who had ever believed in her. By the 3rd month, something shifted. Emily started excelling. The instructors noticed her dedication, her work ethic, her natural grace. She wasn't the youngest or the most experienced, but she had something the other students lacked. Depth, character, a story that showed in her eyes. "You have something special," her main instructor told her one day. "Most models are blank canvases. You're a painting. Every time you walk, people see your journey. They see your pain. They see your triumph. That's rare. Don't lose it." Emily called Daniel that night crying. "What's wrong? What happened?" "Nothing's wrong. Everything's right. For the first time, I actually believe I can do this." Daniel's voice softened. "I always believed you could do it. Now you finally believe it too. I wish you were here. I wish I was there too. But you needed to do this on your own. You needed to prove to yourself that you're capable of greatness without anyone holding your hand. I miss you. I miss you too. Every single day." "How's Noah?" "He's amazing. He started school last week. Made 3 friends on the first day." Emily's heart swelled. "Really? That's incredible." "He's a different kid, Emily. Confident, happy. He talks about you constantly. Tells everyone his mom is going to be a famous model." Emily froze. "He called me his mom? He calls you that all the time now. Didn't you know?" Emily started crying again. "No, he never said it to me." "He's probably saving it for when you come home. You know how he is. Everything has to be perfect." Emily wiped her eyes. "Tell him I love him." "I will. And Emily, yes, I love you too. I love you, Daniel. So much." 6 months in, Emily got her first professional booking. A catalog shoot for a mid-range clothing brand. It wasn't high fashion. It wasn't a magazine cover. But it was real. It was paid. It was proof that she belonged in this world. She called home immediately. "I got a job. A real modeling job." Noah screamed so loud she had to hold the phone away from her ear. "Daddy, Daddy, Auntie Emily got a job." Daniel grabbed the phone. "Congratulations, I knew it was only a matter of time." "It's just a catalog shoot, nothing fancy." Today, it's a catalog. Tomorrow, it's Vogue. This is just the beginning. Grace's voice came through in the background. "Tell my baby I'm proud of her." "Grandma Grace says she's proud of you." Emily laughed through her tears. "Tell her I'm proud of me too." The shoot went perfectly. And 2 weeks later, she got another booking, then another, then another. By month 8, Emily had a portfolio that rivaled students who had been training for years. Her instructors spoke about her as a success story, an example of what dedication and perseverance could achieve. But the moment she was most proud of came on a random Tuesday afternoon. She was walking down Fifth Avenue grabbing coffee between shoots when a teenager stopped her on the street. "Excuse me, are you Emily Carter?" Emily blinked. "Yes. Do I know you?" "I saw your story on the news, about the little boy, about what you did." The girl's eyes filled with tears. "My mom is sick. We don't have money for treatment. I was ready to give up. But then I saw your story, and I thought if she can sacrifice everything for a stranger, maybe I can fight for my mom." Emily was speechless. "I just wanted to thank you," the girl continued. "You don't know me, but you saved my mom's life, because you gave me hope when I had none." Emily hugged the stranger right there on the busy sidewalk. "Don't give up," she whispered. "Never give up. God has a plan for you and your mom. Just hold on." The girl nodded, wiped her tears, and disappeared into the crowd. Emily stood frozen on the sidewalk, her coffee growing cold in her hand. She had come to New York to become a model. But somewhere along the way, she had become something more. She had become a symbol of hope, and that meant more than any runway, any magazine, any amount of fame ever could. 9 months and 3 days after leaving Georgia, Emily Carter boarded a plane back to Macon. She had graduated at the top of her class. She had a signed contract with a regional modeling agency. She had job offers lined up for the next 6 months. But none of that mattered as much as the 3 people waiting for her at the airport. The moment she walked through the arrival gate, she heard it. "Mommy!" Noah broke free from Daniel's grip and sprinted toward her at full speed. "Mommy!" He called her Mommy. Emily dropped her bags and ran to meet him. They collided in the middle of the terminal, Emily scooping him up and spinning him around while he laughed and cried at the same time. "You're home. You're finally home." "I'm home, baby. I'm home, and I'm never leaving again. Promise. Promise." She set him down and looked up. Daniel was walking toward her, Grace beside him. Both had tears streaming down their faces. Emily ran to Daniel and threw herself into his arms. "I missed you," she sobbed. "I missed you so much." "I missed you too, every single day." He pulled back and looked at her. "You're different." "Different how?" "Stronger, more confident. You look like a woman who knows exactly who she is." Emily smiled. "I finally figured it out. I'm Emily Carter, shop owner, model, mother, and I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be." Daniel's eyes glistened. "I have something for you." "Right now? Can't it wait until we get home?" "No, it can't wait. I've waited 9 months. I can't wait another second." He reached into his pocket and pulled out a small velvet box. Emily's heart stopped. "Daniel." He dropped to one knee right there in the middle of the crowded airport. "Emily Carter, I fell in love with you the moment you stood in front of my son, like a warrior protecting her cub. I fell deeper in love with you every day I watched you sacrifice and struggle and fight for the people you care about. You showed me what real love looks like, not the kind that comes with conditions and expectations, the kind that gives everything and asks for nothing." Tears poured down Emily's face. "I spent 4 years searching for my son, and I found him because of you. But somewhere along the way, I found something I didn't even know I was looking for. I found you. I found my home. I found my heart." He opened the box. Inside was a simple diamond ring, elegant and beautiful. "Emily Carter, will you marry me?" The airport seemed to freeze. Strangers stopped to watch. Someone started recording on their phone. But Emily didn't see any of them. She only saw Daniel. "Yes," she whispered. "Yes. 1,000 times yes." Daniel slid the ring onto her finger and stood up. The entire airport erupted in applause. Noah jumped up and down screaming. "She said yes! She said yes! I'm getting a real mommy." Grace wiped her tears and laughed. "About time. I've been waiting for this since the day I met him." Daniel pulled Emily into his arms and kissed her deeply. When they finally broke apart, Emily was shaking. "I can't believe this is happening." "Believe it. This is your life now. This is our life." Noah tugged on her sleeve. "Mommy." That word again. Mommy. Emily knelt down. "Yes, sweetheart. Does this mean we're a real family now?" Emily cupped his face in her hands. "We were always a real family. From the moment you walked into my shop and I gave you my lunch. From the moment I promised to take care of you. From the moment I chose you over my dreams. We became family that day. The rest is just paperwork." Noah grinned. "I like paperwork." Emily laughed and hugged him. "I like it too, baby. I like it too." The wedding took place 3 months later. It was small and intimate. Just family and close friends gathered in the backyard of Daniel's Atlanta estate. Emily wore a simple white dress. No designer labels, no expensive accessories, just elegant simplicity. Noah served as the ring bearer, practically bursting with pride as he walked down the aisle. Grace sat in the front row, crying before the ceremony even started. When Emily reached the altar, Daniel took her hands. "You are the most beautiful bride I have ever seen." "You're biased." "Completely. And I don't care." The minister began the ceremony, but Emily barely heard the words. She was too focused on the man in front of her, the man who had searched for his son for 4 years, the man who had found his family in the most unexpected place, the man who had given her everything she never knew she needed. "Do you, Daniel Harrison, take Emily Carter to be your lawfully wedded wife?" "I do, with every fiber of my being." "And do you, Emily Carter, take Daniel Harrison to be your lawfully wedded husband?" Emily looked at Daniel, at Noah standing beside him, at Grace crying in the front row. "I do, forever and always. By the power vested in me, I now pronounce you husband and wife. You may kiss the bride." Daniel pulled her close and kissed her with everything he had. Noah covered his eyes. "Gross adults are so weird." Everyone laughed. Emily pulled back and looked at her new husband. "Mrs. Harrison, that's going to take some getting used to. You've got the rest of your life to practice." "The rest of my life. I like the sound of that." 2 years later, Emily stood on a stage in New York City. She had just completed her first major runway show for a high-profile designer. The audience was filled with celebrities, fashion editors, and industry insiders. But she only had eyes for 3 people in the front row: Daniel, Noah, and Grace. As she took her final walk, she thought about everything that had led to this moment. A homeless boy standing outside her shop. A container of leftover rice and beans. A promise she made without thinking twice. She had given up her savings, her dreams, everything she had worked for. And somehow, impossibly, she had gained more than she ever lost. A son who called her mommy. A husband who loved her unconditionally. A mother who had been her rock through everything. A career that was just beginning to bloom. And more importantly, she had gained the one thing she had been searching for her entire life: a family. After the show, Noah ran up to her backstage. "Mommy, you were amazing. Everyone was clapping." "You think so? I know so. You're the most beautiful model in the whole world." Emily hugged him tightly. "And you're the best son in the whole world." "I know." He grinned cheekily. "Daddy tells me every day." Daniel walked over and wrapped his arms around both of them. "How does it feel, living your dream?" Emily leaned into his embrace. "It feels exactly the way I imagined, except better, because I'm not doing it alone." Grace appeared with tears in her eyes. "I told you, baby. I told you everything would work out." "You were right, Mama, as always. Remember that next time you argue with me." They all laughed. Later that night, as they flew back to Georgia on Daniel's private jet, Emily sat by the window watching the lights of New York City fade into darkness. Noah was asleep with his head on her lap. Daniel was reading beside her. Grace was snoring softly in the seat across from them. Emily felt a profound sense of peace wash over her. This was her life. Not the life she had planned, not the life she had imagined, but the life she was meant to have. She thought about that hot summer day in Macon. The hungry little boy with the desperate eyes, the split-second decision to give him her lunch. That one act of kindness had changed everything. It had led her to love, to purpose, to a family she never knew she needed. And it had taught her the most important lesson of her life. When you give without expecting anything in return, God gives back more than you can imagine. Emily looked down at Noah sleeping peacefully in her lap. She ran her fingers through his hair. "Thank you," she whispered silently. "Thank you for walking into my shop that day. Thank you for trusting me. Thank you for teaching me what love really means." Daniel looked up from his book. "You okay?" "Better than okay. I'm perfect." He reached over and took her hand. "I love you, Emily Harrison." "I love you too, Daniel Harrison." She leaned over and kissed him softly. Then she closed her eyes and rested her head on his shoulder. Outside the window, the stars stretched endlessly across the sky. The same stars she had wished upon as a little girl. The same stars she had promised Noah she loved him more than. Those wishes had finally come true. Not because she got lucky. Not because someone handed her success on a silver platter. But because she had chosen love when it was easier to choose herself. Because she had sacrificed when it was easier to walk away. Because she had believed in a broken little boy when everyone else had given up. And in return, life had given her everything. Emily Carter had started with nothing. She had given away everything she had. And in the end, she had gained the whole world. Because that's what happens when you love without limits. That's what happens when you choose kindness over comfort. That's what happens when you trust that every sacrifice plants a seed for something greater. My name is Emily Carter Harrison. And this is my testimony. I gave up my dream to save a homeless boy's life. And God gave me back more than I ever dared to imagine. A son, a husband, a mother who never stopped believing, a career beyond my wildest dreams, and a love so deep it fills every corner of my heart. If you're watching this and you're struggling, if you're sacrificing and it feels like no one notices, if you're wondering whether kindness is worth it, please hear me. It is worth it. Every tear, every sacrifice, every moment of doubt. It is all worth it. Because God sees everything. And He never lets love go unrewarded. Trust Him. Trust His timing. Trust His plan. And never ever stop being kind. Because you never know when a hungry little boy will walk into your life and change everything forever.